Hello folks, welcome to my channel. So today's topic is synchronous versus asynchronous versus concurrent. Synchronous versus async versus concurrent. So there is subtle differences between these terms, especially between concurrent and asynchronous, and we will precisely define these terms with the help of example, of course, in Java. So first thing first, what is concurrent? In simple term, a piece of code executed by more than one thread. Very simple definition of concurrent is, and why do we need it? So that, of course, more things can be done at the same time. So piece of code. And because of this, our throughput of our application will also increase. Now comes synchronous. It's very simple, a thread that launches a task. If that thread waits for the task completion, it means your piece of code is synchronous. So basically, a thread. And what do we mean by asynchronous? It's very simple, a task which will be executed in some point in time in future, and the thread that creates the task will not wait for its completion. So let me reiterate all these three terms. Concurrent is simple. We have a piece of code which will be executed by more than one thread, and why we require that thing, so that more things can be done in the same time. And what do we mean by synchronous? A thread that launch a task wait for its completion. It's very simple. This is a very classical example of programming. We all write synchronous codes. And asynchronous is simple, a task which will be executed in some time in future, and the thread that creates the task will not wait for its completion. Let us see this thing in the IntelliJ. Let's first see the concurrent stuff. So what we have done, we have one executor, line number 7. We have created an executor, a pool of threads of 2. Then we are just submitting or launching a task at line number 8. Then at line number 9, we are again launching another task, and we really know that these two tasks are going to be executed in some point in time in future and in their own threads. So I could clearly say, after seeing my line number 8 and 9, this code is concurrent as well as asynchronous, because these two tasks are being launched in some point in time in future and in also more than one threads. So of course line number 8 and 9 are both concurrent and both asynchronous. But then when we come to line number 9, this line, then we could clearly see we are waiting for the results. We are waiting for the result, and this call is blocking. So as soon as we come to line number 9 and 10, we could clearly see the whole code has now become synchronous. So it is concurrent, it was asynchronous, and then suddenly it becomes synchronous. So overall I would say this code is concurrent, but it behaves like synchronous only. and if we execute that, we could clearly see this will run fine. So in Java, we could do the concurrent kind of programming, but later it will still be blocking and it will still be synchronous. So till Java 7, we cannot write any kind of asynchronous programming as a whole. There will be bits and pieces you could say, yes, these things are being done concurrent and asynchronous, but overall, your whole method, your whole API will always be synchronous. Then in the Java 8, we have these CompletableFuture APIs through which we could really write asynchronous kind of a programming. So what we have done here, we have our CompletableFuture. We have submitted one task 1. We have submitted a task 2, and of course these are returning immediately. So they are both are non-blocking call, and these two tasks will be executed in some point in time in future. So clearly this is asynchronous. And also what we are doing, this line is also fully asynchronous, because what we are doing, we are just waiting for the completion. We are not waiting for the completion, we are just saying when this task and these tasks do get complete, then you invoke our this method. So the main thread is basically not at all waiting at line number 7, at line number 8. This line number 9 I have just written so that we could see the result. This line will never be a part of your running application, running Spring Boot application basically, when the server is being run. But all these threads are non-daemon threads, so my application will kill if I just run without line number 9. So let's see this. So clearly we could see we have Tom, we have Ryan. It was sleeping for 500 milliseconds, it was sleeping for 300 milliseconds. They were both completed uh, asynchronously. The main thread has not waited at all. And to clearly show that, if I just comment this line, what will happen? We will clearly see we have not got any result, because those were non-daemon threads, and the main thread exited. There was no daemon threads, and hence our JVM clearly shut down. This will never be case in a server application where the server is always running. So we do not write line number 9. So I clearly mentioned this line is not a part of my application. So now the question arises, can my asynchronous code needs to be multi-threaded? Do asynchronous code needs to be multi-threaded? This is a question that arises in everybody's mind, and the answer is clearly no. Why so? Let's see an example. We have a list of strings. Let me just create a list of we have a string Anil, Ryan, and Tom. Now what I am doing, this is my list, and I'm just doing list dot sort, and I'm just passing a comparator dot natural ordering. We have this method, and if we see this line piece of code, we could clearly see this method is going to be executed in the future. We do not know when it will be, but it will be executed by the main thread only, the, the thread that is calling this list.sort method. And how many times this comparator.natural order task will be executed inside the sort, we do not know. It may depends upon the underlying algorithm which the Java may be using for the sorting algorithm. And if it is merge sort, then maybe this task may be called log of n times. N is the number of strings we have provided in the list. I hope you got the gist. Let's see the conclusion now of this whole video, and the conclusion is asynchronous task may not be concurrent and concurrent task may not be asynchronous. But with the help of CompletableFuture APIs, we could write asynchronous programming over the concurrent programming because we need both. We need the concurrent and we need the asynchronous. And with the help of this Java 8 Lambda expressions and the completable stage future APIs, we could write these kind of codes. We could create asynchronous pipelines, which we of course are going to see in this course. Till then, bye bye.